Welcome to The Mind, a podcast series by the Ramakrishna Vedanta Centre, New Zealand. A conversation at the meeting point of modern science and the contemplative traditions of yoga and Vedanta. I'm Rama, your host, and this is the final episode. For 5 modules, this group has built something together. A way of reading the mind, a map of how it suffers and how it heals, and 4 practices that gently bring it home. Last time, Swamiji drew the deepest layer of that map, and honestly marked the place where every map must stop. Today, he does something different, unfitting for an ending. He sets the diagrams aside and tells a true story. The account of one young man, Manmatha Nath Ganguli, who sat down one afternoon to ask a simple question about the nature of illusion, and within minutes found the entire journey this course describes unfolding in him, not as theory, but as lived experience, given to him in the presence of his teacher. We will hear his account in his own words. Then, Swamiji will show how every stage of it matches what the group has learned. And the course will close where Swami Vivekananda himself so often closed, with 2 words that turn out to mean something far deeper than the rallying cry they are usually taken for. Arise, awake. Arise, awake, the living demonstration. Let's join them, one last time. The same room on the last evening. There is warmth in it, and a little of the tenderness of people who know they are near the end of something that has changed them.
Last week, I asked you to notice the deeper layer and to hold honestly what can be tested against what can only be received. Sarah?
I looked into the gap, like you said, and there is something there. Not a thing I can describe, but a kind of quiet presence, like the room is awake even when my thoughts have gone still. I've stopped being afraid of the silence. It turns out the silence was the friendliest part.
The friendliest part, Sarah, yes. James?
The both lenses discipline reshaped how I think about everything, not just this. I caught myself demanding proof where I should have just listened, and dismissing real evidence because it didn't fit. Holding both has made me a better teacher and, honestly, a better person to argue with.
High praise, that last one, James. Kai?
I tried to catch the one who's looking, and I couldn't every time I turned around to look at it. It was the thing doing the looking, not the thing looked at. And weirdly, failing to catch it was the most convincing experience of the whole course, because that's exactly what you predicted would happen. The thing you can't make an object is the realest thing there is. I came in a skeptic. I'm leaving a more interesting kind of skeptic.
A more interesting kind of skeptic is exactly what the world needs, Kai. Dr. Watson?
I held both lenses with my patients all week, measured what I could, honored what I couldn't, and never oversold the framework. And I noticed something. My patients trusted me more when I admitted the edges of what I knew. The honesty was itself therapeutic. So I come to this last evening grateful, and with one wish. I'd love to know that all of this, the whole architecture, actually happens in real people, not just in theory.
Then, Doctor, you have asked for exactly the gift I have saved for last. Tonight, I set the diagrams aside. I'm going to tell you what happened to one real man on one ordinary afternoon, in his own words. And you will recognize in his account every single thing we have learned. The map made flesh. His name was Manmatha Nath Ganguli. He was a disciple of Swami Vivekananda, and one afternoon he sat with him at the monastery on the bank of the Ganges and asked him a simple question about māyā, about the nature of the world's illusion. He wrote down afterward very plainly exactly what happened to him. Let me give it to you in his own words. Just listen first. We will understand it afterward. He writes, Swamiji asked me what I wanted to know. I said I had read his lectures on māyā and they had moved me, but I had not understood. Please, what is māyā? He was silent a while. Then he began to speak about it, fast, and I followed his words and his logic.
And by, my mind lost contact with my senses. I began to experience a subtler world around me, finer than the gross one. With my eyes open, I could see the monastery, the trees, everything before me vibrating. If you look above a large fire, you see the air shimmer. Everything was oscillating like that. I was aware this was uncommon, and I asked myself, what is this that I am seeing? I looked around and there was vibration everywhere. Then, slowly, even Swamiji vanished from my eyes. I could still hear his voice, but I no longer followed its meaning. And then suddenly, I was aware of a vibration within my own brain, and there was only the void. Then I could see and hear him again, and follow his meaning. But I no longer felt as I had. I considered myself a bubble in the ocean of Māyā, and Swamiji another bubble in the same ocean. The difference between us was lost to me. His great personality, his spiritual power, all of it seemed a coincidence in that one ocean. And it was nothing but undivided consciousness, the cosmic consciousness itself. And from that place, I said to him boldly, Swamiji, you too are in Māyā. Your monastery, your schools, your service of the poor, your hospitals, your mission, all of it is Māyā. What is the need of all this? You yourself are caught in the meshes of Māyā. He smiled and was quiet for a time. It was through his grace that I had considered myself one with the Māyā. And now, slowly, I entered again the little shell of my own self. I saw the monastery, the Swami, everything once more in its ordinary perspective. A moment before I had spoken in a loud, sharp voice, and now I was ashamed of it. Swamiji and I were no longer of the same substance, and I felt the vast difference between us. Then he said, Yes, you have said aright. I am playing with Māyā. If you do not like this play of Māyā, you can go to a deep cave in the Himalayas and lose yourself there in spiritual effort.
Oh, that gave me chills. He didn't do anything. He just listened, and it happened to him.
That is the first thing to notice, Sarah, and we will come back to it. But look first at what he describes, because you have met every step of it. Let me walk it back through. First, my mind lost contact with my senses. That is the inward turn, the very first move of the attention practice. The turning down of the senses we called the silken thread. The eyes are open, the ears still hear, but the grip of the outer world loosens. Second, everything was vibrating. The solid world reveals itself as living movement, energy, oscillation. This is the heart opening where, as Sri Ramakrishna said, one sees light. The surface of things grows thin, and what was always vibrating underneath shows through. Third, form vanished. The voice lost its meaning, and there was only the void. Form dissolves first. Then sound persists, but stops being words and becomes pure vibration. And then, even that resolves into a silence that is not empty, but full. He is at the threshold.
And the void isn't nothing. You've drilled that into me. It's the screen with the film switched off.
Exactly the screen, Kai, with nothing playing on it but itself. And then, fourth, the crossing. Nothing but undivided consciousness. The boundary between himself and his teacher dissolves. Both are bubbles in one ocean. And the ocean recognizes itself as the one awareness underneath everything. That is the source we said the map could point to but never contain. recognized here directly from the inside as his own deepest nature. Not attained, not produced, recognized.
And then, fifth, the question. He asks from that height, what is the need of all this? That is a remarkable place to ask a question from.
It is the most interesting moment in the whole account, Doctor, and I am glad you caught it. He is half returned, still holding the recognition, and from there he sees all of Swami Vivekananda's tireless work, the schools, the hospitals, the service, and asks sincerely, if it is all illusion, why do any of it? Hold that question. The answer is the heart of the lesson. And then, sixth, the return. I entered again the little shell of my own self. The boundaries come back. The world becomes ordinary again. But, and this is everything, the shell is now known as a shell. He has touched what it is made of and what surrounds it. He even feels ashamed of his bold tone, and feels the vast difference between himself and his teacher. The recognition has been laid down in him permanently, like a mark that does not fade.
So he went all the way up and came back in a few minutes, and was never quite the same.
Never the same, Sarah. He had been shown, in one afternoon, the whole staircase and the roof it leads to. And here is the thing the honest account makes unmistakable, the thing you noticed first. He did not climb it himself. He sat in a room and listened. The recognition was given. He says so plainly. It was through his grace. This is what the tradition calls transmission, the descent of grace. We met its gentler form in the lesson on company, that a steadier, clearer presence lifts everyone near it. This was that effect at full strength. Swami Vivekananda's own mind, resting permanently at the source, acted like a tuning fork, and for one afternoon, Manmatha Nath's mind was drawn into resonance with it, lifted far past anything his own practice could have reached that day. The deep peace was the rope, and for once, someone simply handed it to him from above. Now to the question, and the answer, because this is where the whole course comes to rest. Manmatha Nath, from his height, essentially accuses his teacher. You too are caught in the illusion. Why bother with all this work? And Swami Vivekananda's reply has three parts, and we need all three. First, yes, you have said aright. He does not deny it. The work, the monastery, the hospitals, all of it is indeed within the realm of the passing, the illusory, the māyā. The student saw truly. Then the heart of it. I am playing with māyā, not trapped in it, not fooled by it, not so far beyond it that he has abandoned it, playing with it, free within it, fully engaged in it, and at the same time resting in the recognition that the whole field of play is held within something no amount of play can touch. And third, honestly named. If you do not like this play, you can go to a cave in the Himalayas and lose yourself in spiritual effort. The path of withdrawal is real and honorable. He does not argue against it. He names it as a genuine alternative and leaves it open for anyone it suits. 3 parts, 1 breath. The work is illusion. I am free within the illusion, playing. And the cave is there if you prefer it.
Playing is such a striking word for someone running schools and hospitals and a whole movement. It's the opposite of the detached, withdrawn holy man people picture.
It is the opposite, James, and that is the point. This is freedom in the world, not freedom from it. He pours himself entirely into the work and holds it entirely lightly, because he knows what it is made of and what it floats in. He takes it completely seriously and not seriously at all at the same time. That is what it looks like when someone has reached the roof and chosen to come back down the stairs to help others climb. And it connects directly to something we learned long ago in the lesson on action. Act fully, release the grip. This is that carried to its very end. The whole mission, run as an offering, with no grip at all.
So the answer to why do all this work if it's illusion is because you can do it freely as play once you're not trapped in it.
That is exactly the answer, Kai. The recognition does not empty the work of meaning. It empties it of grip, of desperation, of the fear that the outcome will make or break you. And what is left, when the grip is gone, is the freest, fullest kind of action there is, service offered as play. And recall the staircase from last week. The whole of this course, every equation and diagram and practice, is itself within māyā. It is all a pointing finger, not the moon. And yet, remember, the stairs are made of the very same material as the roof. So the framework is illusion, and it is an utterly faithful expression of the real both at once. That is why it works. Not because it is the truth itself, but because, climbed with care, it raises you to where the truth can recognize itself. We have been on the stairs the whole time, and the stairs were always made of the roof. There is one last thing to receive, and then this long conversation is complete. Swami Vivekananda's most famous words, the ones that have reached more lives than anything else he said, "Arise, awake." Most people hear them as a rousing call to effort. Get up, work hard, achieve something. They are that. But they sit on top of something far deeper, which only now, after everything we have built, can be heard properly. The full proclamation runs, behind the strong and the weak, behind the high and the low, behind every single one, there is that infinite soul, assuring the infinite possibility and the infinite capacity of all to become great and good. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Now hear it through everything you know. The infinite soul behind every one is the source, the silent awareness, the screen, the very thing Manmatha Nath recognized as undivided consciousness. It is not far away. It is not a prize to be won across many lifetimes. It is what you already most deeply are, in this very moment, behind every thought. And the sleep we are called to wake from, it is one precise mistake, taking the passing contents of the mind, the thoughts, the moods, the body, the little I, to be the whole of what you are, mistaking the film for the screen. That is the hypnotism. And so awaken does not mean produce some dazzling new state you do not have. It means recognize what was always the case, that the substrate was never the contents. You are not the waves. You are the awareness the waves arise in, and always have been.
So arise awake isn't try harder. It's wake up to what you already are.
That is the whole of it, Sarah. It is a structural claim in the form of a command. You are already that. The contents have hypnotized you into thinking you are them. Recognize. And now see what all our practices really were. Every one of them, the breath, the attention, the offered action, the clear seeing, none of them was manufacturing the awakening. They were dissolving the obstructions to it, lowering the noise until what was always there could be heard, lightening the filter until what was always shining could show through. The practices are not how you build the self. The self was never missing. The practices are simply how the things hiding it quietly remove themselves. That is what awake means, structurally. Not produce, but recognize. Not add, but unveil.
That reframes the entire course for me. We were never fixing anyone. We were helping the obstructions fall away from something that was already whole.
You have the whole course in one sentence, Doctor. We were never fixing what was broken. We were clearing what was hiding what was never broken. That is the kindest possible understanding of this work, and the truest. There is no experiment this week because the course is complete. Instead, a single orientation for each of you, to carry forward into the rest of your lives. You each came here for your own reasons, and you each leave with the whole thing in your hands, to use as your life requires. Sarah, you came wanting to be less reactive and to sleep through the night, and you found something larger on the way. Carry this. You are not the storms that pass through you. You are the sky they pass through. And your children are learning that from how you hold your own weather. Keep the simple practices. Keep meeting your moods as weather, and let the steadiness you have found be the gift you pass to them.
The sky, not the storms, and my kids learn it by watching me hold mine. That's the whole of parenting, really. I'll carry it.
It is a great deal of parenting, Sarah. James, you came as a practical, slightly skeptical teacher wanting tools for your classroom. Carry this. The calm you can now bring into a room is itself a teaching, transmitted without a word, the way a steadier presence settles everyone near it. Teach your subject, and underneath it, teach that.
Bring the calm and let it teach alongside the lesson. I can do that on Monday and every Monday after. Done, and thank you.
Thank you, James, for the honest pushback all the way through. It sharpened everything. Kai, you came a skeptic and you leave, as you say, a more interesting one. Carry this. Keep your rigor, never drop it. But remember what you found when you tried to catch the one who looks. The realest thing in you is the one thing you can never turn into an object. Let that keep you humble and curious for the rest of your life.
Keep the rigor, but stay humble about the thing I can't pin down. That's the skepticism I can actually live inside. I'll carry it. And yeah, thanks, Swamiji.
You were the conscience of this whole conversation, Kai. And Dr. Watson, you came wanting to serve the suffering people in your consulting room better. Carry this. Hold both lenses always. Measure what you can and honor what you cannot. And treat each patient as something already whole beneath what is hiding it. Offer them the stairs and never pretend the stairs are the roof. That is medicine with its whole heart in it.
Both lenses, the patient already whole beneath the obstruction, offer the stairs honestly. That is the doctor I came into this work hoping to become. I will carry it for the rest of my career.
Then my work with you is done, all of you. You arrived holding quiet questions about your own minds. You leave holding a whole architecture and, I hope, the beginning of the recognition that the architecture only ever pointed at. Use it lightly. Practice faithfully. Be gentle with yourselves and with everyone whose mind you touch. The door is open. Walk where your own nature takes you.
And so we come to the end, not with a new technique, but with a true story and two ancient words. Swamiji set the diagrams aside and told of Manmatha Nath Ganguli, who sat down one afternoon to ask a simple question about illusion and, in the presence of his teacher, found the entire journey of this course unfolding in him within minutes. The senses loosening their grip, the solid world revealed as living vibration, form and meaning dissolving into a void that was not empty, but full. and then the recognition of one undivided consciousness in which he and his teacher were two bubbles in a single ocean. And the honest heart of it, that he did not climb there by his own effort, but was lifted, by grace, by the steady presence of one who lived permanently at the source. We heard the question he dared to ask from that height. Why do any of this work if it is all illusion? And the threefold answer that holds the whole course. Yes, it is illusion, and I am free within it, playing. And the cave of withdrawal remains for those it suits. Freedom not from the world but within it, the work poured out fully and held without grip, service as play. And we were given at the last the deeper meaning of arise, awake, not a call to strain harder, but a structural truth in the form of a command, that the infinite soul behind every one of us is what we already are, that the only sleep is mistaking the passing contents of the mind for the awareness they arise in, and that all our practices were never building the self, but only clearing what hid it. The course was always a staircase, made of the very same material as the roof, so that the ones climbing were within their destination all along. To go deeper, the full course, beginners, conversations on the mind in the light of modern and spiritual sciences, on the Ramakrishna Vedanta Center's website, www.vedanta.nz. It is also available as an app on Google Play and the Apple App Store by searching for Vedanta NZ. To Sarah, James, Kai, and Dr. Watson, who let us listen in on their questions, and to you, who have listened all this way, thank you. The framework is yours now, held lightly, and the door it pointed at stands open. Arise, awake, and be gentle with your mind.